should I do it there?
should I directly capture that?
Yeah. So, can you give me where's the other one, first the signing one? I think this is the recording start.
Yeah.
It started. Hi Riley.
Hello.
I just wanted to formally introduce ourselves. So, as you know, I'm Prasimar Singh, and we are a team of Flux, and we are here to do some user testing with you on the application.
What's up, Flux?
So Upflux is like a solution, update management solution for paper and pulp or manufacturing industries, where companies or an engineer can use the solution to deploy a software or an update to all the machines in a synchronous way while maintaining security and all those other aspects of it. So here is the participant consent form.
Oh,
So, if you want to read it, it's just about the
yeah.
project and what is being done, and that's the signature.
So did you came up with the name Upflux?
Yes.
Very good. Yeah, I have no problem signing this. I should probably just let Rob run his eyes over it. But
Yeah.
can we start with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to introduce you to what we have here. So right now, those are representing quality control machines and paper mill. That's a conveyor belt, and we have the frames you can,
Yep.
which is currently checking for the colors. So currently it's not beeping because the software is getting blue, So that's what it's configured for.
Right.
And that is the gateway server we have over there. So that is basically connected through the switch privately to all those QC machines. And then the cloud is connected through a VPN to the gateway. So there's a wireless connection between the cloud and the quality control machines are completely isolated from the internet for security reasons.
Do you want to sketch that out?
Yeah. What would you like?
Well,
just the architecture?
Yeah, like with cloud up here and the low level components down there and all the layers of security.
So that's our cloud. You can consider that as a gateway. And then we have our frames over here. 3 frames. And there is one switch. And those are connected through LAN. And there is one there.
Is this guy here?
Yeah. So, and there is a gRPC connection between gateway and the cloud. So it's a bidirectional communication through gRPC for persistent communication. And then the cloud has a service, we will call it web service for now. And then it has the web application, which is used by on the laptop or the front end. So this connection is here, and then the front end basically connects through the basic HTTP requests, and at the back there is one-way communication through SignalR. So that's our overall structure right now.
Okay. And then gateway server, does it serve as a firewall?
Yeah, kind of, yes. And it basically manages the machine, and its job is to accommodate for connection with the quality control machines to the cloud, but it also manages like verification of the devices, verifying if the package is coming from the correct source, and it also gets data from monitoring from the quality control machine to get the CPU usage and memory usage, and then sends it to the cloud.
And who initiates this TCP connection?
Well, this one, so that is done by the gateway.
And the gateway initiates it, so,
Yeah.
okay, very good.
And there is a TCP connection between the devices here to the gateway.
Yeah.
And just for the whole process, is basically we would have 2 user groups for now. One we will say process manager or an admin, admin and a field engineer. So when there is a maintenance window in paper mills, and there is a task to update all the frames with the latest software. So what the admin would do is he would get the new software, and basically he will go to his application, and he will upload that package, and it will store on AWS S3 repository. And while doing that, it will, beside the software, it will also do a code signing on the software. So there will be a signature file, which basically stores the verification that it was uploaded to the cloud. So that's the role of the admin. He can do other things like deploying the software, but for demonstration reasons, his primary role is to upload. And then whenever he wants to assign an engineer, he can create a token, a JWT token for the engineer. So he'll create that and he'll give it to the engineer. And the engineer can use it to log in. And when the engineer logs in, he will only see the machines which were assigned by the admin.
Right.
So if there's 20 machines, admin can choose he should only have access to 2.
Yeah.
So when the engineer would log in, he will access to 2, and then he will see the software which is uploaded, and he can select the multiple machines and select one of the softwares, and then click on deploy, and it will update all the machines altogether
Hmm.
at the same time. And if something happens, the machines are configured that they will roll back to the previous machine if there's any update failure.
Yeah.
And engineers can also do a manual rollback where if they see that we need to go back one version or two versions, or like the last four layer, the late four version, they can select through the front end and it will trigger a rollback on the machine, selected machines at the same time. And
Does the admin have the ability to deploy them
yeah,
as well?
yes. The only differentiation between the admin and engineer is the admin would be able to upload a software to the cloud
Yeah.
and verify it. That's the main role, and the other role is device licensing. I will get back to the licensing part later on.
Okay.
So engineers can also do, so that's the dashboard, the main dashboard, where they can see basically the machine name, machine ID, application name which is running in the current application, and the 309 ones. And this is the admin view, right? I'm logged in as admin. And he can also see the CPU memory usage as well.
Of the gateway server?
No, of the specified machine, of one of the machines.
Oh, really?
Yes, one of the frames. So like this is offline now, we don't have that one. So that's one part of it. So that's just the overall structure. And the other part is that when a new machine is being added, they would need a device ID to be able to connect to the cloud. So to simulate this, when there is a new machine being added to, for example, the conveyor belt, they will go there, the admin can go there, create a machine ID, and then put it on the machine directly to specify that I have given this. And after doing that, when it connects to the gateway, it will send a request of a license approval to the administrator. So administrator have a choice to basically click on create license, and it will create a license with a specified expiry date as well. And whenever the device doesn't have a license, it will send a request to renew it as well at the same time.
Okay, so the service engineer generates the machine ID, is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
So yes, so they install a new frame, the generate a new machine ID, and then it has to be licensed back in the cloud.
Yeah. It's just to show that the actual machine, where whoever is adding has a unique ID, which was, when manufacturing, it was approved by the company, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the other process. Yeah, and that's just the overall look, and and there's the other functionalities, which I will let you play around with it and do a rollback, and we will try to do an update. Hopefully it works. The rollback will work for you, and you will be able to play as admin and the engineer at the same time.
Okay.
So if you want to go ahead and test.
Whoa, okay. Where's the manual?
How do we know
So right now you're logged in as an admin.
Okay.
So you can basically go through the tabs and just have a feel about it.
Sure. Okay, so this is the individual frames.
Yes.
And the embedded computer details. Maybe that's the version.
Oh, sorry. That is supposed to be admin name, administrator name who added that software.
No problem. So you guys were working hard yesterday or Sunday rather.
So so this is another part of the system where basically our devices, when they are running, the gateway server will detect a time where the engineer can schedule an update. So if the machines are having low CPU usage, memory usage, and if they are in idle state, the system will say, okay, it's time for you to update if you want to, and it will put them in different clusters. So like if there's 20 machines, it will put 19 in one or 2 in the other one,
Oh, yeah.
and then they can do a scheduling as well. And there can be the AI scheduling and there can be manual scheduling as well. So engineer can select the softwares, select the versions and just deploy, and whenever the time hits, it will do the update. That's the license management. So you can see all the machine details over there added on. And currently, we don't have the license functionality deployed right now.
Okay, good. Okay, so as an administrator, so if somebody in the field went to, so I'm looking at the cloud right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so somebody in the field adds a new frame,
Mm-hmm.
then they go to the gateway server, identify it there, generate the, or, yeah, where does that ID generation actually
Yeah,
occur?
it's right there above. See? Yeah. So basically, the idea is that whenever a frame is being made,
Yeah,
there's like a host name assigned to the frame. So we are just trying to simulate that if ABB, for example, made a frame, they would have an embedded device ID on it.
oh, yeah,
So that's what we are trying to represent. So if there is a machine which is not made by ABB, it will not accept anything, any request from the machine to the gateway. So that's the first authentication that, okay, this frame was being added by, ABB, and the ID was generated by ABB.
okay.
Just from a security point of view, like, because from physical aspects, in terms of the switch, just in case someone actually goes into plug in another device
Yeah.
that wasn't ours, by the time the request comes in, we can clearly see this ID isn't our ID and we can reject from that point.
Yeah.
So we don't have access to the system.
Yeah, and what you're saying is it's really simplistic what a device is, it's not necessarily a frame, it's any
Yeah.
it's a TCP/IP enabled device,
Yeah.
and it just shows up there. Okay.
And the licensing part is basically after everything is good, it will send a request for license approval.
Okay.
So here, like, you can create engineer email address and name, and then assign them the machines that they want to, and basically create the token, the JW token. And on the bottom, if you scroll down, you will be able to see all the engineers, including admin administrators, because we want to consider them as engineers at the same time. But there is a field, there is a column which is called revoke token, and basically admin can revoke an engineer's account
Right,
if they want to block them.
yep, if they quit, they're gone. Mhm.
So that's one of the powers that they have.
Interesting. In general, that type of thing, like, you know, if I get fired, my Active Directory account is disabled.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you know, you find this in organizations where you would like to think that if somebody quits or gets let go, immediately their email gets disabled. But often what'll happen is that manager is still gonna have to go tell HR, who's gotta turn around and go tell. And I have heard of cases where, you know, like I used to take care of a remote access platform for all the sites across Canada, and a few in the US. And that was one thing with the really security conscious customers. They want to know like, well, who has access to our site? And it was one of the questions that would always come up, like, oh, what if you don't work there anymore? And I ended up talking to some HR lady, and she was like, yeah, we did have some instances where we didn't get notified mortifying, people just kept getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so it's nice, even if the Active Directory account, you know, gets disabled, it's nice that you can
Yeah.
go in there and boom,
Yeah.
revoke it.
And basically, even if the engineer wants, like the admin wants to make them available again to let them use the system, they can even reinstate the engineer.
Yeah,
So rather than creating a new account, they can just, okay, now you have the access.
yeah. Okay.
And that's fine.
And does engineer one have restrictions regarding which, or
No.
machines? No, he's got access to every machine.
So admin has access to everything, all the machines.
Oh, admin does, right? And admin can the admin manage who this engineer, which sites this engineer has access to?
No,
Okay.
not currently.
Okay.
It's something, it's actually.
Oh, I see,
Not a-
that was the first one, is the admin. Yeah.
Because what we are doing right now is that JWT token has like an expiry of a month right now. So after a month, the token will expire and the admin has to again create a new account for them.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But that is, we have made it so that it's configurable easily.
Okay,
Yeah, so here basically, you can select software
yep,
and then upload it, and basically it will send it to the cloud, it will do a packet signing on it and store it for the engineer or yourself to deploy it to the system. And currently, as you can see, there's one application which is monitoring service and it has two versions currently on the cloud, which is 2.3 is 0.3 and 2.04.
very good. Okay, so the package, an unsigned package gets given to the administrator by
Yes.
the developer. He uploads it and it gets signed in the cloud. Okay.
This is basically, you can request system logs from selected machines. Sorry, there's something, unfortunately. So basically, so you can request logs from all the machines if the admin wants to. And an engineer also can see if there's an error and they want to check the logs of the system, they will get I think it's text file or CSV file. And it
Yeah.
will give out all the print statements and all the console errors.
Okay.
That is just hard-coded values for
Whoa. All right.
yeah. So now, if you go to the dashboard, basically, you can you go on configure rollback, please? Then you can select the bottom three machines which are currently online.
First one, I don't think you're supposed to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, what, you want me to roll back?
Yes.
Yeah, just.
You want me to roll back these three machines?
Yes.
Yeah, just to try and see if you can figure it
Okay.
out yourself.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to roll back all the C6 ones. And they're all at 202 right now, okay? Select the machine, all the C6 ones. Select software version. So I'm at 202, so I'm gonna guess I gotta roll back to here. Uh-oh. Call the mill, tell them we're redeploying, make sure they don't cut power in the middle of this.
Yeah. And now the rollback is at white.
So you should see this tone to orange. which represents that
It's in the process of the update.
the rollout process should be going on. And this is
Okay, I see.
So now, previously it was detecting blue, so the 201 version is the one that detects white paper color.
So that's why it's bleaching, because this is blue color. So
So now basically it will. Something happened in the factory, I guess. No, it should.
is that the treasure trove? Is it also detect red?
Right.
Yes. This is dispatch.
Yes, you see that. So that then we'll just go to details. Okay, just to open. If I take it back to blue first for a second.
Go to red.
It's all red right now.
Yeah, just put red, I think.
Okay, so 201 is red, not
Yeah,
white.
201 is red, yeah. Use red one.
Huh?
Wrong thing on the Discord.
No, no, 200 is. What? Yeah.
So basically, you have updated all the devices, and if you can refresh just once, please. So you can see. What is that? Oh no, that's surprising. If you click on configure again, yeah, and then just close it, please, and then refresh.
Yeah, we need to fix that.
Yeah, so currently you have updated, and the other thing, I wanted to show is like, as you can see, there's like 3, online ones, so I'm just going to disconnect one of the machines.
This is for getting,
This one.
just so you can disconnect and this one.
So I'm just gonna, disconnect one of the machines. And you basically see that it just went offline.
Whoa. Yeah.
So now it's online.
Very good. And you were saying that there's no way currently to see
Can you
this history here, or?
to download the logs?
Yeah, I don't think so.
So we'll download all machine logs should work, no?
Try that.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah, it's going to be like 4 gigabytes.
Whoa, okay.
Because we have that running, application running for 11 hours yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's basically the overall gist of the application. Do you have any questions or any suggestions at this moment?
What's the beeping again?
Just in the admin that detects a misconfigured color. So at the moment, the whole idea is that this obviously have a particular color they're looking for. So they get something that's different from another color, it beeps to alert the engineers that there's a misconfiguration somewhere, and that's why they get a notification. And if you see the notification has a particular UUID that you see, so it should I
Oh, I see. So this sensor's not sensing red.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
And also in terms of the updates, we decided to go with the sense of the traffic light. So when it's like orange, it tells you that update process is like going on or something. And when red is like danger,
How do I know that the gateway server is up? versus all of the frames being down. Is that possible?
So make the gateway server is up.
Yeah, like if you killed the power to all three scanners,
Yeah.
obviously, boom, 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 we're all offline.
Yeah.
But if you killed the power
To the gateway.
to the gateway, can I know, oh, just the maintenance guys killed all the power here, or we lost that machine, or lost connection to that machine? In fact, if we unplug the gateway server,
Then everything.
what happens is all
So
offline.
everything is
Yeah.
out.
So that'd be good to know, because in reality, at each mill, or
Mhm.
maybe at each machine, you'd have more than one gateway server just to get a little heartbeat of the health
Mhm.
of the
Okay.
gateway servers
Okay.
versus just knowing.
Okay, so in order to differentiate which is actually down, either the
Yeah.
server or the devices.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, we could take a look into that.
Yeah.
We didn't really think about that initially, but.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I suppose that, and you do get those messages on the side,
Yeah.
but in reality, like, as busy, it kind of comes up and down, so it would be better to have that log, because you come
Yes.
back in a minute, it's like, oh.
Maybe probably we could have like a notification icon, so if, just in case they're not there right now, they could say like, you have three unread messages or something like that.
Yeah, very good.
Mhm.
That's my initial thoughts. How about from the other perspective, how would I guess the guy at site, he's got his laptop, he connects it out, so he knows if he's, so, some health status from the gateway server would be good.
Yeah.
And,
So would it be like the same way currently we are showing quality control machines right now? We would have one more column or one more table just showing the gateway server, and then you can go to performance monitor and monitor the gateway performance as well, the CPU memory usage.
Yeah, or, I mean, or even, like, if you're gonna have, let's just say there's one paper machine at the site,
Mhm.
like this, and you got one. How about if you had the gateway, and you could see the status, and then you clicked on it, expanded, and it showed you
Ah, okay.
those three frames
Yes.
there at that site,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, would you have, if you had two paper machines,
Mhm.
and this one had three scanners, and this one only had two scanners, would you still go with one gateway? Probably. I don't see why not, because it's not utilized
Mm,
on a continuous basis, but then you would need some indicator to know which one's not to flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe something like that. I suppose I'm really talking about geography here, that like, you might have a mill that's got two machines, and then there may be another mill somewhere else,
Mhm.
and are they in the same country,
Mhm.
so it's entirely possible that somebody in the Czech Republic is servicing all these paper machines in Austria and Germany, blah, 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 blah. So maybe, having a geography at the
Mhm.
root branch and then the customer.
Okay.
There's a lot of ways to skin that cat, but yeah.
We just, the scope was a bit broad, so we just wanted to scope it down to one meal. But at the moment, we have the cloud infrastructure is able to support multiple gateways at the
Yeah.
moment. And we have that done as well.
Very good.
But
Yeah.
the geography is a very good point.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and again, like, regarding geography and then your field service and admin guys, you might have a situation where, this customer here, they know that these two field service engineers work on their system. Well, and maybe those are local guys, maybe those guys are in Austria. Well, the administrator, the customer's gotta understand the administrator could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Could be here, could be,
Yeah,
yeah, you know, could be somewhere else. Now, you're saying that you give out tokens for a month. That's a good part of it, but there could be a need to actually have like, tags is not the right word, but the ability to say, this engineer,
Mhm.
these sites.
Okay.
Just customers can even get weird, like, you know, it's like, oh, give us a report of who's got, I don't know who this guy is.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
You deal with some rough characters.
Yeah. Right. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much.
very cool. Yeah. So you actually got a color sensor. I noticed the RGB.
Mhm.
Values are,
Yeah.
so the color sensor, this,
And so this is simply a color sensor, and here, what have we got? Like, is
eye,
this?
there's eye. So it's just, all just connected to the GPIO pins and everything. So both are color, so.
Very cool. And what were we flashing exactly? Was that the operating system? Or is it the?
It, it's the actual service which is running to check the paper color right now. We are not flashing the entire OS, but it's only one Debian
Yeah,
package.
Just the application?
One of the
Okay.
applications.
Okay. Yeah.
But the idea currently is, in future, it would be that you can have like 3 or 4 sensors, and you will be able to see all those 4 sensors applications which are running and different versions of them, and you will be able to configure updates
Yeah.
in bulk and just deploy them.
Yeah, because in reality, there's an application on the frame, so that there'd be your sensor here is stationary, but in reality, there'd be a head package that
Yes.
scans back and forth.
Yeah.
So there's an application to handle that motion,
Yeah.
but then there's these new embedded sensors themselves are now, and they would have
Yeah, that-
applications that
Yeah.
can, and that could be can be a variety of different types of sensors in that head package.
Yeah.
So the basically idea is that this is one-stop shop solution
Yeah.
for like and like for example, ABB can use this software and give out to customers, say, okay, this is what we have, you can use them. Or it can be like a subscription-based model where it can be used by the manufacturing company itself to update software if they are managing the machines themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of the licensing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it expires after a while, you need to renew.
Yeah.
So it's basically like a model where I would sell my service to ABB, and ABB would sell this further, and they will manage the licensing part of it. Or I can just directly go to the manufacturer and say, you can use the software for your updates.
Mm.
Can you give me that thing?
There was something else that we had talked about briefly was, this connection here, that outbound connection,
Yeah.
and whether it's persistent or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know, you put a firewall in, you know, this is the paper mill, right?
Yes,
This is the OT network. It's entirely possible that, I'll just redraw it here a little bit. So you'd have the cloud here, then you'd have a customer's internet-facing firewall, and then you'd have the customer's corporate LAN, okay, and all their devices on this corporate LAN. But then you'd have, one way to do it is they'd have a north firewall and a south firewall, and then they'd have the OT network operation LAN. And here might be, you know, everything that an operator stations and the frames themselves and so on. So you might have that, right? An even more secure way of doing it is you have the demilitarized zone here, where you've got a firewall here, and you got a firewall here. And TCP connections cannot be made from here out to here. No traffic is able to just traverse this network. You've got to stop on some operating system here. So that's where I would see the gateway server going at a really security conscious customer, because you can still have one NIC on it.
Yeah.
And you set it up so that it initiates that connection out to the cloud this way.
Yeah.
You know? So, who manages this firewall? Well, often it's the corporate IT. Who manages this firewall? I don't know. Could be the OT guys, could be the IT guys. Depends on the site. But yeah, you make that connection outbound to the cloud, and then this connection here. So you probably have to like do a NAT type of thing or something to allow that connection to get down to this device. Okay, so topology wise, that's what you do. The thing about the persistent connections is sometimes the corporate people, they go, we don't want to have a persistent connection outbound all the time. Well, what do you want to do, guys? You could either just unplug this box,
Okay.
or you could have like a software switch in here. We turn it off, and those outbound connection, or sorry, I'm not looking at the, you go to the gateway with the keyboard, the monitor, and you flip the software switch there. So all the services keep running, except it disconnects that.
Connection. Oh.
Okay, that's the other way to do it. Either physically unplug it or have a way just to turn it off to satisfy it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just take a picture of that topology.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, Riley. Just to wrap up, because time's up, I think.
Oh, that's all right.
So this is basically just a questionnaire.
Sure.
So you have already mentioned most of the stuff, just to keep it on paper.
Oh, yeah. How easy is it to understand? Check 5. Straightforward is the update management process. Yeah, good. How effective were you in machine updates from Roblox? Yeah. Overall user experience. Okay, 4 for that. The logs, I need logs. And up here you could use an industrial environment. Yeah, but how confident are you that you could use it in a real industrial environment? It's difficult because you still have all sorts of the older generation of customers. You know, they hey, whoa, we're just not gonna have this plugged in all the time. Who's, you know, our attack surface is there, you know. And even for me, you know, sometimes I think in my personal life I want to go full Battlestar Galactica. If you know what I'm saying? You know, and just to keep it running. But the reality is, like, I know paper mills that have gotten their IT hacked, and they could still run the paper mill. All this was secure, thank God. We didn't have to go to site. but like, they've got, trucks and a scale that comes in, where all this recycled paper comes in and they get weighed. Well, all of a sudden, those systems were down, because they were on the corporate side. And they had to suddenly do everything by hand, you know? You know, so those types of things happen, and Ecoterra is still like, anyway, cutting down trees, so there is that, there is always that type of threat. So how confident? It's getting better. It's getting, my confidence in that, it gets better every year. So, you know, yeah. So I'll just say, yeah, confidence is increasing year by year. In, does it meet your current industrial software update needs? Yeah, it was super easy to use. And, tell me about when the update package gets loaded here.
Yeah.
When does it actually get to here?
Until the engineer and admin goes to the configure update and selects that and deploys it.
Yeah,
Until the deployment is not done, it will stay on the cloud.
yeah.
And it will stay permanently, so like there would be a time limit, like you can have 20 or 10 versions of the same software
Mm.
out there, and you can use those softwares to deploy them.
Yeah. But in theory, guy could use his phone eventually to do it, right?
Yeah.
And is it, you know, 10 years ago, and maybe even now still, a field service guy, having an internet connection could be a problem.
Yes.
Because you could be somewhere in a mountainous region, you don't have,
Oh.
you don't get 5 bars,
Very
and
true.
they don't allow you to just plug in your laptop, so. So, yeah.
There's one question I think at the back of the page.
No,
No?
I saw.
Oh, it's not there.
Yeah, just the most general one.
Yeah, indication of date, or rollback complete. I'll put here, some kind of heartbeat mechanism. From the gateway. Yeah,
Thank you, right?
thank you. I'll just run this by Rob.
Yeah.
No problem.
And,
I just have one question.
Yeah.
What's the current, if you know, like besides ABB, what's the, or like ABB as well, what's the current system if you want to do this process in the industry right now? If you want to do something like this, what would happen?
Oh, what would happen? What would happen is that if it was available, because it was all developed, then suddenly the marketing guys would have, oh, this is what we can sell, and then go to the salespeople. Like, 2 weeks ago, there was a whole bunch of salespeople from all over the world here, just to get